walk back in and see
It would be, but yeah. I walked out in the field a little bit this morning and I pulled a lot of mud off on my feet, I'll tell you. Because this is grounded out just about every year. But this is a new 92-day hybrid that we're looking at. This is one of our old standbys that we just had year in and year out. You can see in the front here it's not very good, but you look back and you get away from the wet spot and it looks real good. So I'm really curious to see how these, and that's why I put them side by side. I want to see exactly how they do.
Nice ear there.
I'll tell on ourselves a little bit. You're going to see a nicer ear on the outside here where it's not competing with the plant next to it.
Yeah.
It's awful nice to see in a plot this big ear hanging on the end row, but it's a little unfair to get a true assessment.
Yeah.
In there where they're 6 inches apart.
And normally when you're looking at these corns, we started this way and planted across. So as much as we tried to dump all the seed out, sometimes you still got a little bit that's in the planter itself. So sometimes the first 6 rows that we take and start in, you'll see it back here, we'll be able to show it to you. It plants just a little bit, but if you look at the second 6 on the right-hand side of the sign, that's a true of what that variety is. There still could be a few little kernels in there on the left-hand side of the sign that when we turn around and start planting, you might get into. And try as hard as you want, you never can get everything out of there. Well, you could if you sat there and turned and turned and turned, but by the time you change 6 boxes 17 or 18 times, and we did it 17 or 18 down there in the corn plot, 17 or 18 in the beans, you're tired of dumping seed boxes.
I imagine most of your varieties you're aiming for just one nice ear rather than pushing for 2.
Yeah. Most plant breeders will tell you if your corn is shooting 2 ears on all the stalks out in the middle of the field, your population's not high enough.
Okay.
They like about, what is it, a ½ pound or 6/10 pound a ear on it, I think. And the reason is because if you get 2 of them, and then you get a lot of wind, you just got that much more tendency to tend to blow it over. And some corns will throw that second ear pretty easy, some won't.
And so far through all of your plots, I haven't seen any lodging, other than, of course, the raccoons, which is a different story.
Yeah, and we've been very thankful. We haven't had a lot of wind and stuff, but if you look, there is a lot of brace roots down. The brace roots have really, right at the very base of the plant.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of brace roots down there. Yeah, so you can see. And some of these hybrids, this is a little bit shorter hybrid too, so in other words, it should stand a little bit better than a really tall one.
Yeah.
And we've had a little bit of wind because we had some stalks over here in our sweet corn that kind of goosenecked a little bit, so I know we've had a little bit of wind.
Yeah.
I've got an old 1970s John Deere 7000 Max Merge planter.
Okay.
It's got a whole bunch of different settings on the lower end. But once nobody was planting high populations back in the day, so it jumps from like 30,000 to 32 to 35.6, and that's the only ones that I have to choose from. 32 I didn't think was quite enough, so I jumped to 35.6. But if this hybrid continues to look this way in the other plots, it'll be very, very positive and probably get released. But we just take a look at it one more year, and we'll come in and these will be tested for silage and also for grain. We'll run the combine through them.
Okay.
That's in the 96 day. This will be 94 day. Oh, I do too. This has been one of our best corns the last number of years, even though it's a 94-day hybrid. And that's the thing. A lot of corn companies, it used to be if you wanted an early hybrid, you always sacrificed yield for it. Everybody wanted a fuller season. That day's gone. Almost all of your companies anymore have really good early hybrids. And especially if you're taking corn to the elevator like we do, I don't have any grain storage. I want something that I can take in at 16, 17, 18% moisture where I don't have to pay a lot for it.
Yeah.
And this is one year in and year out why it dries down really good. But this is a newer hybrid that we're taking a look at, a fairly early hybrid. But the thing that the guys are looking at with these early hybrids, you can do one of two things. You can put out an early hybrid, get it off, now put a cover crop out, so you're ready for next year. Or if you have that cover crop out, you take and harvest your cover crop, then put an early season corn out like this and the next year, and then you're still going to be able to harvest it for silage. So really you can go a couple ways. If you look, you'll see a few more of these are a little bit more upright. You know, at the very top, they're a little bit more upright. This one is not as upright. It tends to kind of come over a little bit more. That's just in the genetics of it. Some people think that these catch more sunlight. Some people think that that helps shade it, keeps it cooler. You know, I don't know which is.
Well, every year is going to be different, so.
Yeah, every year is going to be different. But it's just the idea, you know, if you know some of your hybrids and you can plant some upright and some that's not, you're kind of helping yourself, you know, in case the wrong conditions come along, that you can still come out all right. Yeah, look at the ears on it. I mean, it's just, and they're like that all the way back in there. I just was amazed. This has really impressed me. If a silage guy wouldn't plant some of that, I'd be awful surprised.